living in Canada versus living in Jamaica. Let's talk about it.
Thrown up because we're in a complete trade war.
This video is not gonna be really edited. Well, maybe. Just a little edited. But that's just because I want you guys to hit that subscribe button, smash a like on the video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let's not overdo the edit. You guys may be wondering, why am I qualified to compare living in Canada to living in Jamaica? Well, it's simple. I've lived in Jamaica for the first 29 years of my life, and I've been living in Canada now for the past 6 years. So, no better person, right? We'll be comparing a number of different things, guys. Education, healthcare, culture, standard of living, way of life, people, down to the animals in this video. So, you want to be here for the full duration of the video. Okay, so for context, I'm living in Grand Prairie, Alberta, which is a northwestern city located in the province of Alberta. We're at the part of the season where we're not sure if it's winter or if it's spring. So, you know what? Let's call it sprinter. Was that a poor attempt at a dad joke? I don't know. But let's go. Let's continue the video, guys. Okay. So it's now time to sit and get into the actual video. Why you guys clicked on this title and thumbnail in the first place. So the first comparison we're gonna start with is comparing culture. Now I decided to start with culture because I have a hard time explaining to my Canadian friends, co-workers and colleagues what I mean when I say Canada doesn't really have any culture. Right? So let me try my best to try and explain and compare both countries from a culturistic perspective so that you guys can probably understand what I'm trying to say. Now, Jamaica, when it comes down to culture, Jamaica is a very culturistic country. We have a national tree, Bloomaho, we have a national flower, we have a national dish, we have a national pledge, song, anthem, pretty much everything, right? We have something that symbolizes what it means to be a Jamaican in every single sense of the word. So if it's a song, we have a Jamaican song. If it's a pledge, we have a Jamaican pledge. Jamaican national dish, ackee and saltfish, so forth, so on. Now in Canada, you have a national anthem, right? Oh Canada, love it, great anthem. But Canada doesn't really have like the culturistic, like national tree, flower, everything, a symbol that identify what it means to be Canadian, outside of like the flag and probably the Canadian goose and certain little thing, but it's not really embedded from a culturistic perspective. As soon as a kids start going to school in Jamaica, they start learning about the national emblems, right? Bloomaho, Lignum Vitae. We even have a national bird, hummingbird. So, like straight across the board. So from a culturistic perspective, I think Jamaica is more culturally ingrained than Canada, from my own perspective. But guys, feel free to comment and let me know if you agree or if you disagree with me. So I had to change the angle on you guys because the sun was in my eyes. Even though the lighting was pristine, the sun was in my eyes. So I have to change the angle as we tackle the next comparison, which is education. Education is a topic that is very divisive, and there are persons who believe that education in Jamaica is better than education in Canada. Vice versa. Many persons believe that education in Canada is better than education in Jamaica. But let's compare the both. Right? Now, in Jamaica, you start basic school, preschool, whatever you want to call it, at 2 years old. As soon as the kids start walking around, start mumbling a couple of words, after school you go. After school you go. And even at that point in time, the kids at 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, by the time they reach 5 years old, they've already been going to school for like 2, 3 years, right? And what they do at that time is not just about play and so forth, so on. But they actually have a lot of stuff that they do. They get homework and all of these things, which I personally believe, this is my own opinion now, I personally believe that put the kids underneath undue pressure from a way too early age. And because of that, you have a culture of regurgitation, which means that the kids go to school, primary school, high school, and then they just go into a culture of regurgitating what they learn and not becoming really free thinkers, right? Now let's compare that to the Canadian education system. Predominantly, kids start school at 5 years old when they start kindergarten. You have the option in cases that you can have your kids start a pre-kindergarten at 4 years old or even 3 years old. But you have to pay for that. And not many people do that, right? So kids go to day home or daycare up to 5 years old, typically. Now, if you have a special needs kid, like in our case, we have Malika, who is autistic, you have programs in Alberta, Grand Prairie. I'm not sure if it's all across the country. You can comment and let me know if this is the same. But you have programs like what is called a PUF program, where they get the kids in school from 3 years old, considered pre-K. It's free for them. And the goal is to try to get them up to speed, into the rhythm, by the time it's time to actually start school at 5 years old. Even when they start school at 5 years old in kindergarten, it's more around learning through play, making peer socialization in terms of interaction, communicating, so forth, so on. And it's not so much learning the art stuff. And like, I can't recall Malika even getting homework at that point in time. So in Jamaica, 2 years old, and the kids are they're rigid, they're like, bam, off the bat. But here, they start school a lot later, and it's a lot more, I'd say, coherent. What's the word I'm looking for? Guys, if you know the word I'm looking for, pop it right here, right? But it's a lot more, not more sustainable, but it's a lot more convenient for the kids because, one, I think the kids learn to express themselves through creativity, and I think the kids are more free thinkers when they are allowed to express themselves through creativity and not just so much through regurgitation. And that is why I believe that you have so much innovation coming out of North America, because these kids are taught to think outside of the box and not so much 2 + 2 = 4. Let me know what you guys think. I strongly contemplated changing the angle again, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep it right here because I think I have a good thing going on right here. So here we go. Third factor, healthcare. Let's talk about healthcare in Jamaica compared to healthcare in Canada. In Jamaica, you have public hospitals. Wow, you have public hospitals in Jamaica, really? Yes, you do. Quite a few, actually. Quite a few. Almost in every parish, if not in every parish. Yeah. I don't know all the hospitals, but I think every parish have them own public hospitals. Now, public hospital in Jamaica, it's free. For the most part. But the thing is, you have poor service, and I'm not painting Jamaica in a negative light. I'm really just doing a comparison, living in Jamaica and living in Canada. So I don't want anybody to say, oh, you're painting Jamaica. No, the truth is the truth. The public hospital, from my own experience, is one, you have long wait times, hours, oftentimes. If you have to be admitted, you have to be waiting for a long period of time for a bed to be available. And sometimes you're there on the benches, just waiting. And even when you're giving birth in a public hospital, the spouse is not allowed to go into the room. And no more different factors. Like, it's not really as developed as in Canada, which is okay because Jamaica is a developing country. So it would be really unfair to expect the same standard for the medical facilities like a developed country like Canada. Now, public hospital aside, Jamaica have a whole lot of walk-in clinics. Now, many clinics equal 24-hour care, oftentimes. So you have clinics that like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 24 hours right through the night. If you get sick, you can just take your health card, your health insurance, and you can just go to a clinic and you can get care. That's how it is in Jamaica. So a lot of persons go to the private doctor because they have their insurance, and their insurance cover most of the things, and then just pay out of pocket the difference, which is not usually much. So access to care from a private perspective, I think it's a lot more convenient in Jamaica than in Canada. Take it a grain of salt though. Remember, I said I do live in Grand Prairie, Alberta, it might be different parts of Canada. But my experience in Canada here is the public hospital is very convenient. It's very nice. You have your own room, you have your own bathroom. Giving birth, a breeze. You feel like you're in an hotel room, you get steak for dinner, all of the nice things. Wait times varies depending on the city. You could end up waiting a long time for care and stuff like that for a couple of hours, just the same as in Jamaica. But where the disparity comes in is in Canada, you have what is considered to be a family doctor. I'll usually recommending that you have a family doctor. That doctor that knows your health, everybody in your family. Getting a family doctor in Canada is tough because there's not many primary care providers currently. So it's like the wait time to get a family doctor can be very difficult. However, you do have walk-in clinics. But the walk-in clinics that are here, they don't always open all the time. Meaning that they usually close by 6, oftentimes, majority of them. Now you do have a few aftercare, but you have to get on the list by a certain time. So if you're sick after that time, dog, you must suffer. Right? So that's it. That's how it is. So the access to care, it's free at the private doctors as well, because you have not free healthcare, but universal healthcare. Universal healthcare, and no matter where you go, walk-in clinic, doesn't matter where, you don't pay anything. You just walk in, get care, and you go. But getting in might be a challenge, and that's a challenge that many people have here in Canada. Finding a family doctor and access to care is not always readily available. But what I will say is that universal health care trumps everything else. Because if you have a serious surgery to do, if you have any major diagnosis, you don't have to worry about money because it is covered. It doesn't matter the surgery as long as it's not BBL. I don't want nobody to think that they can come and do BBL and the universal healthcare or anything like that. But as long as it's a non-cosmetic surgery, it is covered, and that trumps everything else in my own opinion, right? And that's just a comparison where the healthcare is considered. So as you guys may have noticed, I've not only changed the angle, but I've also changed the location entirely. Now in my car, outside was getting really cold and crowded. And I didn't want to talk about the next topic with so many people around, which is going to be the people. The people of the country. Now, Jamaicans are the most soulful people you'll probably ever meet in your entire life. Jamaicans are known to be vibesy. Jamaicans are known to be authentic and genuine. And Jamaicans tend to just tell you what's on their mind. If they like you, you'll know. If you don't like you, you will also know, right? Jamaicans tend to wear their emotions on their face. So you can see somebody off the bat and know, say, approach or don't approach, or approach with caution kind of thing. And what you see is typically what you get for most Jamaicans. In everything you have exceptions. So don't tell me about the one person who you met who yada, right? Now let's talk about the persons in Canada, in Grand Prairie specifically, where I'm living, because of course I know everything is really subjected to where you are located. It might be different where you are living. But where I am living, persons here, you have people who are just as what I've explained about Jamaicans. But for the vast majority of people who I have met, they blow hot and cold. Poof. Them blow hot and cold. It's simple. Today they're good with you. Tomorrow you have to be wondering, like, did I offend this person? I don't know. Should I approach? Should I not approach? Blow hot and cold, right? And for me, that's a challenge for me personally, because knowing a Jamaican in me, if I don't like something in someone, Jamaican instinct is to go to that person and tell them. But then you have to be chipping in now with the Canadian side of the brain. Now be like, nope, probably don't tell that person. Probably hold it. Probably don't let the person know. Probably just, beat around the bush a little bit. And that's the hard part. And that's one of the things that I realize a lot, right? With most persons here. Also, in Jamaica, let's be honest, your neighbors are a lot more friendly. Your neighbors are gonna be your friends. Or even if they're not your friends, you're gonna know them. And even if you guys are from the same neighborhood, community, in Jamaica, and you see somebody outside of your neighborhood in the streets, just randomly walking, you guys automatically are gonna be connected with each other because we're from the same place. Here in Canada, people walk past you like they don't even know you. You can be working in the same office, going to the same school, living in the same neighborhood. Doesn't matter. They'll walk past like they haven't even seen you. And that was a huge culture shock for me. Huge culture shock. Now, the other thing is, and that's why I had to move from outside of the crowd, because it seemed like I'm really going in. And again, just as I said, I'm not trying to make Jamaica look bad. Definitely not trying to make Canada look bad. But this is my experience. Now, in Jamaica, as soon as you come out your mother's womb, you start learning basic etiquettes. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, thank you. Yada, respect your elders. So if you see a elder as a kid and you pass that person and don't say good morning or the appropriate greeting, your parents are gonna know about it before you get home, and believe me, you're gonna be scolded for it or disciplined for it, because it's a culture of mannerism. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, sir, Mrs. Greetings, salutations is a big thing in Jamaica. When I just came to Canada and I told somebody good morning, I didn't even get an answer. I walk past so many persons and I don't get the same greetings that we're used to in Jamaica, and that was a culture shock for me, and I was like, okay then. Or you say good afternoon to a total person you're just walking by, good afternoon, and they're shocked and they're like, oh, good afternoon. They weren't even expecting it because it's not a part of the culture, right? The other thing is, remember I talk about the salutations are very big in Jamaica as a sign of respect and just adherence. So you have your boss, it's gonna be Mr. whatever their last name is, Mrs. whatever her last name is, Doctor whatever their name is, whatever appropriate salutation. But here, everybody first name basis. That was a culture shock. Going in the class, teacher, first name basis. Working in an office, boss, first name basis. Vice president of the company, first name basis. Doctor, first name basis. And I'm like, whoo. Or, to be honest, they probably put doctor first name, right? But that was a culture shock for me. And when it comes down to living in Jamaica, living in Canada, something to look out. I think I'm just gonna finish the rest of the video in my car. Hopefully you guys don't have a problem with that and still see fit to like, comment, share, and subscribe, right? I cannot do a living in Jamaica versus living in Canada comparison. I don't talk about the weather. Now in Jamaica, you have 2 seasons. Summer and rainy season. In Canada, you have 4 seasons on paper. You have your winter, spring, fall, and summer, right? But in retrospect, you really only have 2 seasons, which is winter and construction season. Because winters can be very long in Canada. In Jamaica, if it's not sunny, it's rainy, which is summer and rainy season. And rainy season is just a couple months of the year, and you don't even get rain every day. So the warm sunshine, the vitamin D that you get off the sun, probably that's why the people are so energetic and upbeat and lively. I don't know. But that's Jamaica. And the torrential rainfall, the tropical rainfall that you get, and you hear it beating on your zinc, and it just set the mood, and it just make you want to sleep or just chill with your partner or whatever the case may be. That tropical rainfall sound and vibe is something that I miss, because I haven't gotten that since being in Alberta. That torrential tropical rainfall, you're not gonna get it here. And again, it depends on where you live. The rain only pretends to fall here. It only pretends rain. You get rain, you do get rain, but it's not that torrential rainfall that I'm talking about. And every season you have to adjust. That's something that you don't have to do in Jamaica. In Jamaica, you just live. When it's rainy season, you have an umbrella. Full stop. Here, you have to prepare for winter, because of course, winter comes with its own challenges. Colder temperatures. You have to have on a jacket, your dressing, every single thing. No sunshine. More darkness. Seasonal depression. All of these things are nuances that you have to deal with when considering winter. Then you have spring. Like in what's happening right now, you have sprinter. That joke again, if you get it, I get it. Going on outside. Sun is out, but it's cold, kind of thing. And then summer, which can be too hot. Can you guys believe it? In Canada, I've been in Alberta, where it's actually hotter than in Jamaica in the summertime. where people have to have AC in their house. So how is that even possible? You may be wondering. You live in North America where it gets so cold, but yet still in the summer, you need AC. How do you modify your house to the conditions? And then you have fall, which personal is my own favorite because it's a sweet spot. It's not too hot. It's kind of getting close to winter, so the days are cooling down a little bit. And coming out of those hot days, those cooler days is a relief in my own perspective, right? But the point is you have to make constant adjustments as the years go by, as the year goes by. In Jamaica, summer, rainy season, and you're good. Oh, sometimes you get Christmas breeze. That's for another day. Okay, so I want you guys to do this for me. If you guys want me to do a part 2 for this video, I want you guys to comment and let me know right down below, because there's so many more things that we can compare and talk about. But I'm gonna talk about one more thing before I wrap up this potential part 1 of this video, which is doing business. Doing business in Jamaica is a pain in the you know what, especially when you're dealing with government services, tax office, when you're dealing with the banks. Listen, why is it, and you guys please comment and let me know if you're living in Jamaica, if banks still close at 2 o'clock or 2:30 throughout the week, and I think 4 o'clock on Friday. Is that still a thing? But if it's still a thing and you're watching this and you're the manager of a bank, why are the banks closing so early when people have to work just the same? So because of those things, you have a long line up in the banks, government offices are jam-packed. Doing business is a pain in the butt. And there are so many bureaucracies to go through to buy a house, so many bureaucracies to go through to buy a car, to register a car, to get your fitness, to get your... PTSD moment. So many loops to go through. And because of the amount of loops to go through, you have a lot of under the table going on. A whole lot of going around the system. A whole lot of money transaction being exchanged. Kind of thing, right? In Canada, doing business is very easy. I'm not gonna lie, there's not much lineup. You're going to a bank and you're in the bank for 15 minutes, you start hearing the grumbles, you start hearing the, why is it taking so long? Kind of thing. Because you go in the bank, walk in, you walk out. You go to Service Canada, which would be like the equivalent of like tax office. You go in, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops, you're out. Ease of doing business. Buying a house, seamless. Very straightforward process. Buying a car, seamless. Registering a car, very seamless. Easy to do business. Can you scam the system? Not really. So you have less corruption and money transactions going on, kind of thing. So in doing business, which is also expected because we're talking and we're comparing a developed country to a developing country. Hopefully Jamaica will get there one day, hopefully very soon, right? But that was my experience living in Jamaica and my experience currently living in Canada. If you guys have a similar experience living in Jamaica, or if you're now living in Canada or a different country, please share your experience right down in the comment section. And if you guys want to hear a part 2 to this video where I compare stuff like road range, employment opportunity, dating, different things like that, let me know in the comment section and I'll do my best to do a part 2 for this video. If you guys are here to the end of this video, it means that there's something that kept you here, something that you liked about this video. If that's the case, please let me know by liking the video. Please let me know by subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. And see you guys in the next video. Will I be in Jamaica in the next video? Who knows? Let's see.